I'll give you a bit of an overview so that you understand what reading people is all about, or how you go about it and the purpose for it. And then we'll look at some specific examples. So with the facial features, and if you think about it, if you look at somebody who's been working out, you know that they're fit because of the muscle structure they have. You can look at somebody who's more sedentary, you can see that as well. Now, if you think about it, if you're feeling happy, your body's going to show it as well. If you're feeling unhappy, you're bent over, and same as that. So the end result is your physiology and neurology are linked all the time. So when you're thinking, if you think in a particular way, you're going to use the same muscles and ridges in your face. You're going to move those muscles, you'll create crevices, ridges, and that gives away the way you like to think. So your face is a history of your personality. To know how you're actually feeling, the little expressions on your face, you get these little twitches that when you first hear something or see something, you respond unconsciously, and then the conscious mind steps in after that. And when it does, it shuts it off and the expression disappears. Now that expression can be as fast as a fifth of a second, down to 1/25th of a second. So it's just fleeting. But in that one moment, it gives away the way that person really feels. You've got their emotions straight away. So if you've said something to them and you get a little twitch on the side of the mouth, for instance, you know that they didn't really enjoy it. There was a problem with what you've actually said, so you can pick it up quickly. Then the words you use, how you actually speak to the person. So your facial features tell me your personality, therefore I know how I should talk to you. I then start using those words, and then I look for the expressions and the body language that comes back, and I know straight away whether I've got a connection with you or not. So that's what it's all about. Now, I've been doing this with everything from young children right through to senior adults. There's no limitation on anybody that you can read. And in fact, you don't need to have them in the room with you. All you need is their photographs. So how many times have you found, and I'm looking around the room at a couple of people here, that you probably would have had this experience, you've gone up to somebody and when you've first met them and you've gone up to shake their hand, they've stepped away from you. Then when you first start to talk to them, how many times have you found that somebody you've been talking to, everything sounded right, but all of a sudden they just seem to switch off altogether? Well, you've oversold the deal. There's a number of people in this room I can see are very analytical, so you need a lot of information when you're talking to people, which means you're going to talk to the other people in the same way. And the result with that is you're now going to actually give them too much information and they'll switch off. At the end of the day, the more you understand your own traits, you therefore understand how people see you. And therefore you can then react with them in a way that makes a better connection with them. Okay, well with John, for instance, the larger area down here, he likes to make his decisions really quickly, but he's also analytical. So he needs to analyse everything first, get that information, and then let's get on with it. Give me the best way to do it, and so man of action. He's also concise when he's speaking. You have to make sure that you've got your presentation put together properly. It needs to be structured. It can't be bouncing around the place. It's got to be A through to Z in the right order, showing the connection. It's got to have all the detail there, the information, so he can get all these details from it. And at the same time, he wants to just move quickly. And when he talks to you, it's going to be fairly concise. So you have to respond in the same way. You present it that way, he's going to enjoy it. Yeah, well, Monica, when I said before, giving people some space when you meet them for the first time, with Monica, I'd actually reach out, shake hands. I'd let her to set up the space. And in fact, one of the things that I would do is I would walk towards her, but then stop and let her set the distance up. And what I usually do, if I've got tables and things like that, I go to a point, let the person come to me, and that's how I'll meet them. Because you don't step into their space, because otherwise you get that pull back. Even if they don't move back, you'll see it in their expressions that you've invaded. Monica's very quick to give, and she's a little bit more, still to the point, but you get a bit more conversation out of her. At the same time, she's very much self-reliant, no nonsense. What I look at is the tolerance level as well. Everyone's tolerant most of the time, but under stress, people who have the closer set eyes, if you interrupt them when they're doing something, they're really focused on it, they don't like it, they don't respect it. Some people I can go up to and go, right, I can see that they're busy. I can just say, look, can you come over and give me a hand? And they're quite happy to come and help me. But then other people will go, I go and tap them on the shoulder and say, come here and help me. Well, they may come over physically, their mind's still going to be on the issue that they're working on, and they're going to feel like they've been disrespected because what they were doing is important. And I've virtually said, well, what I'm doing is far more important than you.